Hey, what is up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all doing well. This is episode 2 of my journey to reach a 10K payout for the month, and I'm really excited about today's episode. I'm going to be just very honest and transparent about the emotional roller coaster I was going through for a few days and how I was finally able to break free of that funk and essentially perform way better coming into today's session. So right now I do have 5 50K Apex funded accounts. If you want to trade with Apex, they are currently 80% off lifetime, 50% off the resets, and a 1 day pass that all ends on April 30th. So really great promo, and having the accounts I have right now, I wanted to just continue the momentum, right? So for the first few days of the series, I had a lot of confidence with my execution. I was gradually growing the account. Profits were looking good, trades were looking decent. So it just felt really smooth. And then, of course, me being on the high horse I was on, I started to come to a point where I couldn't accept losses because I was starting to build too much confidence in how I was trading. So finally, I think it was the third or fourth day, which I posted on my YouTube about. I eventually lost two, and then it became three funded accounts by the end of that day. So I couldn't accept the loss in the trades. I kept averaging in more contracts, and I was getting emotionally just flustered that it wasn't working out in my favor. All the typical things that you hear from traders on how they lose accounts, that's what I was going through. I was going through the swing of emotions. I was risking more than I should have. I was moving my stop loss. Again, just the typical trader thing that you shouldn't do, but we tend to do, and that's how we lose accounts. So I was going on a major tilt mode, and at that point, things start to look red and things start to go kind of black out as well. And I think when I lost that second account, just all heck just broke loose for me. I was so upset and just disappointed and sad that I was putting myself through the ringer for absolutely no reason. And because I was going through that emotional tilt, being blindsided by emotions, I wanted to somehow get revenge on the market. So I got into my third funded account and traded with revenge. And obviously, I lost that account as well. That account was around like $600 less of the safety threshold. So it was really a frustrating time to have lost that account. Now, mind you, by the end of that day, I also had passed four evaluations because the goal was to get a total of 10. But obviously, starting off with six minus the three I lost, then adding the new four, I brought my balance of funded accounts to seven. And then over the last few days since then, I lost another two funded accounts. So it's been a really, really tricky situation. And I felt like I was just stuck between this toxic cycle of passing evals to become funded just to lose it right away and growing the account quite a bit before I lose it before a payout comes. And I was really setting myself up for failure essentially because I wasn't giving myself enough grace and I wasn't following my plan the way I should have, right? I talked about in episode 1. The main plan that I'm doing is consistent base hits 5, 10, 15 points on the NASDAQ, 1 to 2 contracts, if that, and calling it, right? Obviously, if there's way more opportunities, then yes, I will take advantage of it. But that was the simple breakdown of the strategy I wanted to follow. And I simply was not following that when that day came around. So, looking at the accounts I have right now, very just thankful for the profits I made on the day. I think one of my accounts just zeroed out, I just noticed, because it's 2:34 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And if you didn't know, this is when the market and the dashboards start to refresh or whatever. So that's why these might start to zero out as I'm talking. But hopefully the profits were there when I initially started record. So anyways, I just got tired of losing. I think when you get to a point where you're just tired of losing accounts, losing money, you're tired of wasting your time, wasting your energy on doing the same things that are holding you back, you start to change a little bit, right? I think that's with anything in life too. It's not just trading, but it could be even in your job, it could be in your relationships, it could be in your gym fitness stuff. So really it's applicable to anything in life. You get fed up and you want to see change, and that's when you really put in the work to make that change happen. Change is not just going to happen if you do the same things over and over. So finally, I got out of that rut because I stopped allowing myself to fail following my plan. And coming into today, although my profits are starting to zero out here, really was able to capitalize on a lot of these moves. The main idea was pushing into supply, looking to grab those liquidity zones for a push to the downside. That was my main concept I wanted to follow, And thankfully, I was able to actually follow it a lot better than I was expecting to. Now, I will have to shout out for one of the trades I did because it was actually a mistake, more so like an accident. So I meant to have my trade copier on to do all 5 accounts at the same time when the New York Open was happening. I'm looking for a quick push to the upside to break through the 40 to 43 liquidity zone in the supply area, as you can see right here. And with that trade, looking to do all 5 at the same time because I felt fairly confident in that trade idea playing out. Obviously, it did work out, but my trade copier didn't because it's my fault. So to do the trade copier, you have to have the 5 here, and then you have to turn on the trade copier by actually manually clicking it. I didn't do that. So instead of having all 5 accounts copied at the same time, it was 5 contracts for one trade or for one account. So looking at the trade, I got in at 34.25. As I mentioned, liquidity zone in the supply area between 40 to 43. My exit's at 42.25 because I didn't want to be too greedy where it just takes me out or something when obviously it kind of ran through it a bit more. But either way, I got out of the position at 42.25. And it's crazy because all 5 cons, that's how I brought in $800 before commissions and fees were removed. So I didn't even see this happen because it was so quick. It was literally 5 seconds when this trade was occurring. So to quickly show you guys that, 5 seconds I was in that trade and I was out. So of course, if it was my 5 accounts all trade at the same time, it would have been, 5 seconds for each one, bringing in $160 because it's 8 points on the NASDAQ and, minus commission and fees, however much that would be. But that didn't work out the way I anticipated to. So it was kind of like an accidental mistake trade where I had 5 cons for one. So it brought me in a lot more profits than anticipating. But thankfully, my account is still respecting my 30% consistency rule. So even when next week comes around, I'm sitting at a nice buffer and I will be able to at least secure this payout for next week, which is great. But that's one of the trades I wanted to talk about because sometimes when your trade idea works, it really works. And in this case, I'm just lucky I had the 5 cons on there. But either way, even if I had one, that would have been 160 and I still would have been more than happy with that because that's what my initial idea was anyways. So pretty crazy that happened. But to talk a little bit more about the other accounts, I'm sitting pretty nice with 4 out of the 5. So the first one, as we discussed, got a really nice trade from this morning on accident within 5 seconds. Then the second and third account sitting at $2,600, so right at the safety threshold. These two I really, really need to maintain, just hitting the base hits for next week to come so I can lock in the payouts for them because then I'll be able to lock 3 accounts with a max payout of $2,000 each. Hopefully that's $6K. Not going to force anything, of course, but got to focus on those base hits to be able to lock in the $6K. Then for this fourth account, we're right below the safety threshold at $2,300. So if I'm able to also focus on base hits to bring this up by the time the payout period comes around, then I'll be able to lock in 4 accounts with a total of $8,000. Now for my 5th account, I'm not anticipating that I will reach a payout for it. So I'm hoping to just tell my mind to take it easy and also focus on base hits because then by the time the second pay period comes around in May, I may be able to request a payout during that time. And this final one would obviously be, hopefully, the payout needed to reach 10K for the month. But either way, any payout I'm very thankful for, especially because it's been a really rocky couple of days. So I'm just hoping to just focus on those base hits and lock it into my brain that I'm going to make mistakes. I'm human. I have emotional days as well. And there's things outside of trading that's going to affect the way that I perform. But it all boils down to, self-control. And that's something that I need to always work on because self-control can be really difficult when it comes to trading. So that's the quick update on my current accounts. Again, I have 5 50K Apex fundeds, and I'm just really excited for what's to come over the next couple of days. Hopefully you guys are trading well and taking advantage of opportunities. The market has been really interesting, and as you can see, my little lines and stuff, that's kind of how I've been trading, just following some trends and being able to really take advantage of them. So thank you so much for your time and support. Hope you're all doing well and accomplishing and reaching your goals and dreams. Hopefully you guys are killing in the market too. But as always, wish you nothing but the best and most success in all that you do. And I will see you all in the next video.